Well, this is a shocker. DoorDash gets sued again. And this time it's not for stealing tips, but this might actually be a little worse. In today's video, we are going to uncover the details of this new lawsuit. Is what they are claiming to be true? And could we see more lawsuits just like this one in the near future for DoorDash? Now, I've always said I don't trust DoorDash at all, and I have never agreed with their business practices, but they make me, in my market, the most amount of money. I'm going to call it market share. And when I sat down and read this lawsuit, I have to say, I was like, yep, I could totally see this. So here are the details of this lawsuit. So who is suing DoorDash? It's Canada's Competition Bureau, so it's coming from Canada. They say that they're suing DoorDash and its Canadian subsidiary for allegedly advertising misleading prices and discounts. And they found that consumers were unable to purchase food and other items at the advertised price on the DoorDash websites and mobile applications. And due to the additional mandatory fees at checkout, they are suing to stop DoorDash from what is called deceptive price and discount advertising. Interesting, right? So they are seeking, from what I know, a penalty from the companies, and then they want them to basically offer restitution to all of the affected customers that got this deceptive pricing. So DoorDash said that they denied it, of course, that they did not hide fees from consumers or mislead customers in any way, and said that the Bureau is completely wrong. See, how about that accountability? So their quote is quote, "We believe that this is an overly punitive attempt to make an example of an industry leader in local commerce." Do you think that they're trying to make an example of them? I don't think so. Okay, let's get into this just a little further. So let me ask you, now knowing all the details, do you think that DoorDash is basically deceiving its customers by putting fees at the end and also putting up prices that they're paying versus what is advertised on the DoorDash website? Go ahead and let me know what you think on this lawsuit. Is what they are claiming to be true? Now, my Canadian peeps out there, you guys know how DoorDash works better. It could work differently than we do here, but I'm going to talk about what's kind of happening in the States right now. I personally believe that DoorDash is not upfront with its customers in telling them where all the fees go to. How many times do customers talk to us drivers and automatically think that the delivery fee goes right to the drivers, and sometimes that's not why they tip their driver, because they think that it's automatically going to them. And we're like, no, we only see like $2 of it. And there are other fees based off of where you live. You know, there's so many ridiculous things that they charge, and you really don't realize the full breakdown until you're at the very end when you're hitting send, so that way your order goes through the DoorDash app. So if DoorDash isn't transparent with its drivers, we all know that to be true, right? Are they really transparent with their customers either? In my opinion, no. I don't think they're honest and transparent with any one of these parties, including their own merchants who make them money. I feel like they try to keep everyone guessing on how they conduct their business. In my opinion, I feel like they're hiding a lot of information and they want to keep it that way because I feel like that's how they make their money. I have no basis to put this on except this is my own opinion. Until they get caught and stuff like this, right? And then it takes something like this to bring to light all the things that they've done wrong. In this case, it's on the consumer side, not so much the driver side. But if they're technically not transparent with their drivers and they got caught subsidizing basically a base pay, and many states have sued them already, this kind of is the same thing, but on the consumer side, if you really think about it. So once again, they're getting sued because of their own business practices. So could DoorDash see more lawsuits just like this in the near future? Honestly, anything is possible. When I did a video a couple months ago when the other lawsuit came out against them, I said it was only a matter of time because if they were doing it in one state, it applies to every state out there. And it was just timing wise when other states were going to get on the bandwagon and sue DoorDash for an undisclosed amount of money, millions of dollars, to make sure that the Dashers were paid fairly during a specific time. Now, fast forward to this one, they literally dish out fees for every single order. I don't care where you're at because that's how they're making money on the back end. So if you really think about it, think about the billions and millions of dollars they spend every single year. Where do you think that it's actually coming from? So they're getting a percentage of whatever the merchant charges the customer, right? The merchant has to pay DoorDash. They're getting a percentage of the customer because the customer pays all these fees in order to use DoorDash. And then years ago, which is what they got sued for, they were using customers' tip to subsidize Dashers' base pay so they didn't have to pay Dashers the correct amount of money. So they were getting money that way as well. Hopefully that has stopped. Do we trust that? I'm not quite sure about that. So they're basically getting like a piece of the pie from each one of these entities that makes up DoorDash. And to me, that adds up to more lawsuits and more disasters because they don't have the best business practices in place. That is actually a win-win for everybody. I get that they're a business and they're there to make money. Every business is there to make money. But at what cost, and are they doing it deceptively? I think that's the question. So let me ask you, do you think DoorDash is misleading and is deceptive towards customers, Dashers, and merchants? I think so. And I think it's always going to be there until they change. And is DoorDash ever going to change? I don't think so. What do you think? I mentioned earlier in this video, I talked about a lawsuit a couple months ago where DoorDash gets sued. Well, you're going to want to check out all the details there, and I'll see you over there.